Shekhar's first book, or the gravity of gratitude. According to him, he didn't write this book. Okay. So what he says is, this book was, he was the instrument and in writing this book, but it's really, the inspiration that he got, and somehow this book got written. That's what he says. And the beta copy of this book was reviewed by Praveen, who is also here. And so Praveen has provided some comments and suggestions and reviews of this book before it was published. So I would like Praveen to say a few words or more, whatever you feel like, about Shekhar and about this book. Okay.
Thank you, Shri Kaka. Thank you, Shekhar ji. Shekhar Dada, you have always been a true inspiration. As most of you or some of you may know in this call, I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor. I was given 6 months to live, but here I am, 2.5, 3 years down the line, still, thriving. And a lot of that goes to some of the aspects which are covered in this amazing book, which Shekhar Dada has recently written and published. I was fortunate enough to be one of the early readers of this book. And me and Shekhar Dada had quite a few discussions around it. I don't know in what way I have contributed, but I know for a fact that this book and its content are divinity in itself. To begin with, I will give a quick introduction of Shekhar Dada for those of you who may not know him. Chandrasekhar Mayanil, as he is a PhD and a neuroscientist by profession. He is a former professor of developmental neurobiology at Anne and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago, and also the Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine. He was the former director of pediatric neurosurgery research program for more than 15 years, and he has published more than 50 stellar citation classic research papers on early nervous system development and pediatric brain tumors in top-notch peer-reviewed scientific journals. The interesting thing about Shekhar Dada is he not only is he very scientific and very advanced, as far as his teachings and learnings and education goes, but he has always been intrigued and drawn towards yogasanas and yoga since early childhood. He has been practicing yogasanas for more than 50 years and more lately dhyan and deep dhyan techniques for 25 years. His current passion is to scientifically decode the yogic literature in modern neuroscience language. As you all know, yogic neuroscience is a new scientific field which Shekhar Dada is spearing with fresh logical interpretation and explanation of yogasana and yoga techniques in the light of modern neuroscience. He's blending yogasanas, yoga, kriya, and pranayam with the latest discoveries in the field of modern neuroscience, thus making both yoga asanas and yoga more appreciable to the logical mind and neuroscience more palatable to the people who do not have the scientific background. He comes from a very, at an early age of 15, he was initiated into yoga by his father, and he comes with a lot of that, experience and lineage. His father was a yogacharya of the Iyengar yoga tradition, and one of his gurus, that is Swami Atmananda, he has been an eminent neurologist also in India. So I think the yoga and the neuroscience has somewhere been imbibed into Shekhar Dada from the early days. During the COVID times, Shekhar Dada has had very successful sessions on Zoom. He has written multiple, articles, multiple talks he's had during the COVID times. But strengthening the fortress within was one of the most successful sessions during COVID times, where more than 600 people across the globe attended this. Recently, he has also given 3 workshops on how to rewire your brain to manifest your deep most desires. So that is all about Dr. Chandrasekhar Mayanil. He is currently a Sevak at Chinmayananda Mission, Badri, Chicago, and he has been teaching Bhagavad Gita and Advait Vedanta to grade 11 and 12 students for 16 years. That's an amazing introduction. Can you believe it? We have the great fortune of having, Shekhar Dada with us today. And today we are going to talk about something that is very close to his heart and the latest, innovation from his side, which is the book, really, Gravity of Gratitude. I have a copy of this, the latest book. But as I said, I was lucky enough to read the beta version and we were able to discuss it at length. One of the things that Shekhar Dada, before we start, I wanted to point out, and I think it is important to lay that foundation as well, is on the difference between gratitude and thankfulness. And I know we've spoken about this in the past. Many times it does get confused. So, if it would be great if we can start there. And I think the follow up to it would also be amazing if we can talk about cause and effect. We are used to thanking or being grateful after a particular act has been done. But from what I have been able to understand after having multiple discussions with you is gratefulness is an act that need not have to be followed by or you need not be grateful only after something happens. You don't need a cause and effect mechanism to it. You can actually be thankful and grateful to begin with, and then things that you desire can follow. And so, Dada, over to you.
Thank you very much, Praveen, for the introduction. And so it's really nice to have this very smart people, giving sessions and talking on Sri Yoga. And I think all of us are like a wonderful family. And so Shekhar. One thing I want to mention is, if you have any questions, you can write it in the chat box, or later you can ask questions. Next week also we'll have a question and answer session, and so you'll be meeting Shekhar and knowing about this topic thoroughly. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Shekhar.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sriji, and thank you, Praveen, for such a fantastic introduction. I like to listen to it. So nice. Okay. So I'm. This is the book that Sriji said that he said. Can you tell me in one line? Of course, there were other people also who asked the same question to me. Can you tell me in one line, what is this about? I said, to be very honest with you, as I told you, the book wrote itself. I read it and I was transformed. So I could say that this is what it is all about. So if I say I have written this book, it will be a lie. Essentially, I'll be telling a lie, because there is so much inspiration in this book that I am the first beneficiary of, and that's the reason this book has come out the way it is come out. And I have had people read it and like they were blown out. I say, what is it all about? This is something like a pillar of strength for them. Most of the time they say that. And I agree with them. You know why? Because it is the same thing with me too. It is a pillar of strength for me too. So that's why I always feel that, did I write this? How did it get written? I don't know. So that's what I have a feeling about. The gravity of somebody say, why you have to toot your own horn? I said, well, you know what? If I will toot somebody, if Praveen has written a book, I would be the first person to go around in the world and say, if the book is written by somebody else, somebody else means somebody higher than me, then I would definitely like to toot that person's horn. All the time I say, this is the best thing out there. Please buy it, like that type of thing. So anyway, so this book basically transform yourself with thankfulness. How do you transform yourself with thankfulness. And the key word is positivity. Positivity breeds prosperity and great health and great well-being. Now, the book contains all different kinds of goodies that you get out of after reading it very slowly. Don't read it fast. Very slowly read it and imbibe it. The more you imbibe it, the more you get out of it. And I'm only going to touch one aspect, health, from this. There are several other aspects which the book has dealt with in detail. I think that will be a good thing to read, because the present today's talk will just give an outline about how, if it can take care of health, obviously it will take care of everything else. Embrace gratitude and learn how to use your own brain, your very own pharmacy, for your own health and well-being. Now, this is exactly what Praveen and I were discussing during his challenging times, that you don't need to worry, you don't need to seek out for medicines all the time. The infinite creator has blessed this entire machinery. It is one of the best in the universe. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can compare it. Nobody can replicate it. In the same machinery has been sent to create your own drug, whatever the medicines, at will. You can will it and you can get it. It is that wonderful. This brain is so beautiful. All my life I have studied this brain, and finally I've come to this conclusion that we have not been trained how to access it. This secret is hidden from us for some reason. And yoga has that. Yoga is a super science which has the secret. And every small things that we do in our day-to-day life, because we do not have an understanding, the clear understanding about what it is, from both the perspective. From a yogic perspective, we don't know much. From scientific perspective, we don't know much. So we get succumbed to scientists or logical people that, oh, this is not scientific. We say, oh, yeah, I don't know. Because we don't know the power of yoga, though you don't know the power of yogic science. So we get sucked in there. And when you talk to scientists, they say, well, yoga is all this and that. So don't worry about that. Take the pill and be fine. So this is what we get sucked into. But this is my passion, is to bring both this thing together, bring the yogic science, the yogic super science, and explain it to scientists also, what it is all about. So that at least they will understand what the logic is here. We can rewire our brain by just being thankful. Can you just being thankful itself does the job of rewiring the whole brain? This is what I will share with you today. And how do you use that concept for to become a healthy and excellent, having excellent well-being. That's what this talk will be all about. The book is unique, I would tell you. That's why I got this picture, because this plant is growing in most harsh condition. It is growing between rock. I mean, the two big granite rocks are there, and that fellow is trying to grow there. How is it growing there? This is the book. The book takes a unique approach to the concept of gratitude using a combination of yogic and neuroscience principles to explain how a simple thank you can rewire your brain and help you achieve your higher level of success in any field. Success means not just financial success, even though that's also equally important, but relationship success, how do you interact with others, how do you interact with yourself, how do you come across in the world. It all teaches that. So this book is a groundbreaking, in my opinion, because it shows how cultivating an attitude of gratitude can rewire your brain and position you to higher achievements. The same thing here I've been talking about. It has a transformative power, and that I am the first beneficiary of this. So that's what John Bloomberg, the one who has written the Return on Integrity. He's an author of that book. One of the best books, very, very, very powerful books. If anybody wants to go about reading that book, it is one of the greatest books. You'll know what this man is about after reading this book. And he asked me, Shekhar, tell me in one line after the book, how do you feel after authoring the book? He was very nice to say that after writing the book, he never said that. He after authoring this book, he knew that somebody else has written it in his mind. He knew it. So I just told him, I feel transformed. John, I just feel transformed. So this means that book has done the job for you, right? It has done the real job, which means it transformed you. Yes, I said yes. And the transformation is continuous. It is constantly. The more I read the book, the more I feel transformed. The more, this is my constant experience. The places where I in the process of writing the book, where the places where I cried, I laughed, I I was happy, I was sad, I was doing all the emotions keep growing again, and I keep growing inside me. What all, how this book, how this entire writing itself has transformed me. And reading is further transformed me, because then I say, oh, these are the things that I need to learn more, further and further. So this is what the book has done. How I got interested in gratitude. This is the first chapter of the book. I was in Bangalore, in National Institutes of Mental Health and Neuroscience as a lecturer, brand new lecturer. And during that time, my parents came and stayed with me. And my mother used to go to temples, all the temples. Southern Indian temple fascinated her the most. And of course, my dad used to take her, and I also used to accompany them. But I have always seen since my childhood that my dad never got inside the temple. He would always stand outside. And my mother used to always coax him. They say, you don't want to. She thought he's an atheist. He doesn't want to get inside the temple or anything. So I also thought, as I came back home and I asked him, I said, why is it that you don't go inside the temple and you always seen outside? What is that? So he said, well, your mother has been asking me for since we got married, and I never answered her. But let me answer you, both of you, today. So he said, call your mom and I will give you the answer. I said, he asked my mom, what do you go to the temple, inside the temple for? She said that the same mother thing, all mothers do that. So just I do some chanting, some prarthana and all that. So, and what else? She said, well, I asked for, that was the most important thing that he noted. I asked for your health, Shekhar's health, his brother's health, everybody's well-being, so that their job is fine, there is no suffering, and this, all that stuff. Asking, a list of asking. And my father immediately said, that is exactly the reason I don't go inside. Because I'm afraid that amongst all the 1,100 people sitting there in the temple asking, I might get sucked into asking, when I'm not done yet thanking for the breath that I'm taking. I'm standing outside thanking for the breath, inhalation and exhalation. For that very moment, I can only thank one time for that very breath. And the next breath, I will thank for that breath. I have not been able to thank God for Shekhar, for you, for the house, for the air that we breathe, for the plants, the trees, the road, the parks, the rabbit. I have not been able to thank God for this body that I have been bestowed yet. I can thank only once for the breath I am taking, inhalation and exhalation, inhalation and exhalation. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is all, and he started to cry. I said, I think I'll be going out of this world without thanking God for everything he has given me. So I don't know how else, what else is there for me to ask? I have been given more than I can deserve. So that And the whole house was so pinned of silence. My mother felt so miserable in that moment. They said, I've been thinking that this fellow is an atheist. And I also thought he was an atheist. And I mean, he was so deep into something much, much deeper than, and that got my attention actually. That got my attention. Of course, I went on with my life being a person. Of course, that was a very, very strong moment for me. It was a life-changing moment. But it's just that, like, if howsoever great thoughts are around you, or howsoever great advice is around you, still, if you are not ready, it will not get inside. You will not take it. So that is exactly what happened. And I went on with my life being a person with ingratitude, like absence of thankfulness, and lived life. But one thing I found out about, later on, I asked my dad, I said, Dad, is that the reason why you are having no disease? He lived till 84 years old, 80, and he never, ever fell sick. Never. In the entire lifespan, I have not seen him sick, ever. Not even cold also. And I was wondering, why is that? What is the reason behind this? And one thing he told me, that the root cause of all the problem, be it health related, relationship related, career related, or money related, can be traced back only to one cause, and that is lack of gratitude for what you already have been blessed with. That was the like, oh my God, what am I hearing this here? I say, what about the epigenetic mechanism? What about the gene changes? What about this all this and that I was talking about? He said, doesn't matter. Gratitude can override genetic challenges. Gratitude can override all kind of so-called explanation that you give to justify this is the thing, and this is the thing. No. The root cause is lack of gratitude. That's it. You can change everything with thankfulness. So thankfulness of what? Suppose somebody is having a situation. Say, do you think I should be thankful for this? No, not. If you can you thank for anything? Anything. Can you thank for the wall? Can you thank for the computer screen? Just thank. That changes. That itself changes the dynamic. That the thankfulness itself changes the wiring, and all the supposed to be whatever that is required to heal you from within happens right there inside the brain. It takes care. I'll tell you the place, the region in the brain which causes stress, or which is the root cause for the stress response in our body, releases the same hypothalamus releases oxytocin also, which is a feel-good chemical. Same place, same region in the brain. So this is the beauty. You want to be miserable, you can fabricate misery in your system, and you can be. Now, this is the feeling guidance scale that I'm talking about. And what happens is, we are either on the left or the green side, or on the right side, on the red side. So the green says the gratitude to the highest frequency. Highest frequency. Why am I talking frequency here? The frequency, the reason I'm talking about frequency is the highest frequency is the source frequency. Source means you can call it Tao, you can call it consciousness, you can call it Brahman, you can call it quantum field, whatever you call it. I mean, various people have called it differently, but it is basically is highest frequency. Frequency is running like so fast that it's it appears as if nothing is happening. That kind of high frequency. It is so fast that nothing is, it looks as if nothing is happening. So the gratitude is almost close, almost at the same frequency as that of the consciousness, or that which is the unmanifest consciousness, from where everything gets manifested. So if you are creating that frequency within you, and all it takes is being thankful, just being thankful, that itself creates the highest frequency possible. And when you attain that high frequency, what you become, you are in alignment with the cosmic intelligence, or the consciousness, or the quantum field. When that resonance happens, you become the co-creator along with the entire what you call existence. The entire existence, you become the co-creator alongside with that. So that is the beauty of this. The creation does not have any desire. You happen to have a desire. So what you do is you become in alignment with that, and you become the co-creator. So whatever you want in your own being, to heal from within, to create anti-inflammatory molecule, to create antioxidant system in your, it has everything here, right here. And this gives you the command of all. And that's why this command center you call Agya Chakra is so thoroughly worked upon and by all the yogis in the planet. This is the reason why they are working on. Now, when you see the world outside gives us what? World outside gives us what? Sorry. Okay. The world outside gives us all these kind of things: fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. That you are insignificant, that is the world out there gives you. It causes insecurity, it causes jealousy, it causes hatred, rage, anger, discouragement, blame. I mean, all this. Condemning, criticizing, and complaining. This is in the red frequency. The lowest frequency is this fear. Right? During the COVID time, half of the world, or 80%, the 90% of the world was suffering with this. So this particular thing gets you into a situation where you self-destruct. And that's the reason when Praveen was saying that strengthening the fortress within was it was like runaway hit. When I was telling them, this is the reason you should get into this. How do you go about doing it? That's the time when I thought about writing the book. And I said, oh, there is something that the world needs. And the Lord in its infinite mercy has given this to me to be given, sharing it, to give it out to the world. So I just keep giving it out all the time. So what happens is, when my dad was at this level, gratitude level, he never experienced any of these. I have never seen him having any of these feelings ever. And no wonder he was never sick. His body was the first beneficiary of him being in gratitude all the time. Now, my dad said also one thing. If you're not feeling, I mean, he didn't see this chart beforehand, but I'm telling him that, telling you all that, if you're not feeling any of the green feelings, which means if you're not feeling anything like this, right? If you're not feeling content, if you're not feeling hopeful, if you're not feeling optimistic, if you do not believe, there is no belief in you, positive expectations about anything. If you're not feeling enthusiastic and eager, if you're not feeling empowered, if you're not feeling that you are the love, not that you are being loved or you can love. No, you are love incarnation itself. If you don't feel that gratitude within you, that no matter what, I am taken care of, and I am so thankful for that. If you're not feeling anything of that nature, then thank more. If you're not feeling fulfilled, thank more. And after having done thanking, thank even more. Keep thanking. So constantly keep thanking. So what happens when you are in the red zone? Red zone is the poisonous zone. Of course, it was the most important thing to fear was the biggest one single factor for preserving our species. Remember that. So don't underestimate the power of fear. Fear is the most important factor in preservation of human species so far. Why? Because if you don't have that fear system built into your system, in your brain, then what will happen that you will get caught up and somebody can eat you or you can die. So fear was very important. And why it was important? Because it gave instant energy, so much strong energy that you can run like Usain Bolt in the face of somebody with a yeah, faster than that. So that gave you the cortisol, gave you the instant energy inside your system. And that is exactly what happened. What happens during this fear emotion is hypothalamus releases some hormone which is called corticotrophin releasing hormone, and activates the pituitary, which then activates which then releases adrenocorticotrophic hormone, and that goes inside the bloodstream and then activates the adrenal, which is cortex, which is some small organ sitting on top of the kidney, our kidney, and that releases the cortisol. So this is important, very, very important, for because now what happens is that gives you the power to run, right? Do something about it. But and when you do something, then negative feedback happens and the entire system shuts down. That's very, very, very powerful, very good. But what happens right now? Boss threatens you, the stock market threatens you, economy threatens you, COVID threatens you, war in Ukraine threatens you, everything is threatening you. And what happens? You can't run anywhere. You run, you sit there. So this negative feedback never happens. This particular one never happens. All it happens is this constantly, this particular thing keeps happening. The cortisol levels are so high, and that is the cause for impaired immune function. That is the first target, is immune system. And after that, once immune system is busted, inflammation starts. And during inflammation, this is the cause for all these challenges: metabolic disorder, neuropsychiatric disorder, anxiety, depression, neurodegenerative disorders, immune dysfunction of the cardiac and digestive problems all start to happen. Now, this is called brain frying, you call it, right? Any malfunction in HPA axis, which means it should create cortisol, that's fine, but it should auto shut off. Negative repression or negative regulation should happen. And in the absence of that negative auto shutting off, this is what happened. Brain fries, anxiety disorder, polar, bipolar, insomnia, PTSD, borderline personality disorder, ADHD, depressive disorder, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, alcoholism, irritable bowel. This is all the symptoms of HPA axis malfunction. So, but this is being in the right side of, like, on the red side. So how do you get back in? This is exactly what I was telling you. All these things starts to create a system in your body where you can fry your own brain and be miserable. Whereas getting here is as easy as winking, but we don't know, right? So my dad taught me something that if you have, I think this is in the book also, I have repeated that over and over again throughout the book. Whenever you are reading this, please practice this. This is my request, honest request, hand-folded request, that you practice this. What you do, even now we can do a few minutes. We can sit straight without any support of the back. Just sit straight like that. Okay, and bring your arms and the palm on your lap like that, straight, palm upward. Close your eyes gently. Head tilt little bit like that. That helps in activating the Ajna Chakra. I'll tell you a little later what is that Agya Chakra all about. Agya Chakra is not something something imaginary. It is the real deal here. I'll tell you what that real deal is. So, and exhale completely. Complete exhalation. By using your Sriji teaches this how to exhale properly by putting your stomach all the way behind, like make your abdomen touch the spine, almost like complete exhalation, right? And when you inhale now, mentally say thank, hold for 7 seconds. I mean, the best way to do this inhalation is, it should sound like this. That sound has to happen. When you get that hissing sound, like hissing, how do you create that hissing sound? You exhale as if you're fogging a mirror, right? So, but with your mouth closed, and now exhale as if you're fogging the mirror. That type of thing. So the little bit constriction of your throat is necessary for this thing. And then what you do is you count 7, hold. And when you exhale, say you. Count 7. This is 1 cycle. Now you can do 7 cycles as whatever. And I mean, you should aim for 4 cycles a minute, which means 1 breathing cycle. So you are basically cutting down on the number of breaths. A healthy human being, normal breathing wise, does about 15 to 16 breaths per minute, right? A yogi does 2 to 3 breath. Breath means inhalation and exhalation cycle in a minute. So that increases lifespan by itself. It has been proven beyond a shadow of doubt. This kind of breathing has been able. People have shown that it increases the telomere length of the chromosome. Telomeres are which keeps track of how many times the body system has experienced cell multiplication, right? So as you age, the telomere length goes shorter. So if you decrease the cycle of your breath to like 4 cycles per minute, 3 cycles per minute maybe, it helps in very strong health and longevity. How this particular thing, this Mickey Mouse technique of breathing consciously, saying thank you, inhalation, exhalation, inhalation, exhalation, thank you. Now you say thank you means what? Thank whom? Nothing in particular, just the universe. Just thank the universe. For what? Hello?
I just wanted to point out, so that hissing sound which you mentioned,
Yes.
is it the Udgit pranayam that we do?
Yes, you're right. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. That's right. Now that this thank you protocol contains this particular type of breathing contains 2 components. One is gratitude component, which is my dad you will read in the book how he got this protocol and who gave him the protocol. You will know the story behind it when you read the book. So the gratitude component was an added thing that somehow got into his life. The breathing component was the known thing in the world, like whatever that was the pranayam experts and breathing expert were telling him, that is fine. But somehow gratitude component got added into the system, into this protocol. And that made it so powerful, double power it came. So, and the gratitude component says that being thankful for whatever you have, whatever. It doesn't have to be, oh, I don't have a job, I don't have this, I don't have. Don't count on what you don't have. Count and thank whatever you have right now. Whatever, there's so much to thank. You cannot have time for even to find out what you don't have right now. It is that good. So if you are in a mode of thankfulness, what will happen? Your energy level will increase. And whatever you think you don't have, now you become at that level, you can create whatever you want now. You become a receptacle for anything that you want now. Being thankful causes that to happen. But if you're all the time complaining, criticizing, and being unthankful for whatever, for everything, then the receptacle goes, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, finally it disappears. And then you go into this mode of, I don't have anything, and poor me syndrome and boredom and all that nonsense, the red zone you go into and destroy yourself. This is the one thing which I am telling you. If you just say thank you, the first thing that happens in your is the pupil dilation is gone. A thankful I look like this, and the non-thankful I look like this. And what happens is, when you are unthankful, when you are fearful, when you are sitting in the red zone where the brain is getting fried every moment, that time you are in the sympathetic nervous system activity mode. Whereas when the moment you say get out of, right away you go into the parasympathetic mode. Can you believe, cut a quantum jump? It's not a small level of jump. It is like boom, from 23 to 1 directly, goes directly. And that is exactly what parasympathetic nervous system does. And it is the same organ, the same brain area which causes sympathetic system to trigger, like hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal. This is the sequence. The same hypothalamus will create also oxytocin. And I'll tell. Now, this region of the brain, the region on the left side of the red line, right? This region is the main region that is going to be in evolutionary significance in coming millennium, I would say. This is the region which is going to experience. Human being is already evolved. There is nothing, you cannot fly anymore. But whatever, you cannot become superhuman. But this is definitely going to be making you superhuman, because what is happening is the rest of the activities will be taken care of by artificial intelligence. The thing that now these activities that are some of the activities of this frontal cortex will be taken care of by the computers. So this will make this region empty now. So how do you go about evolving this? This is the power of yoga now. Yoga will become the thing in the future, because artificial intelligence will take over the most of this mundane work that this region were taking care of. Okay, so ventromedial prefrontal cortex is the region supporting gratitude and giving. What happens is, when you are taking something from somebody, you are thankful, right? You are thankful, and that person also is thankful because you took it from him. So both are there is a gratitude, both giving and receiving, both are feeling good right here. And during that time, people have found out that this particular ventromedial prefrontal cortex get lit up. Now, what is that ventromedial prefrontal cortex? When you do the bow, when you do the bowing before the Lord or your mother, your parents, you bow down really nice and touch your forehead and press your chin like this and touch your forehead. This particular region is what gets activated here, just by default. So being humble and thankful already is doing the job for you by activating this ventromedial prefrontal cortex. Now, how do they know that this is the thing? What they do is, I'll tell you. There is a technique called bold technique. says that it is a non-invasive technique. That is one thing, and it does not require any dyes or anything. And functional magnetic resonance is used to figure out the increase in oxygen concentration. Now, if now the logic of this is you are asked to do gratitude. You are being given some task where there is a gratitude conditioning of your system, of your brain, like being, let's say you are giving a raise, you're thankful, you are asked to hold a small baby, you're becoming thankful, the oxytocin is getting released. So whenever you are into gratitude conditioning, what happens is they try to figure out which area of the brain has the most oxygen, which means that that area is becoming active. That's why it requires more oxygen, right? So this is the technique that they have. And with that, they have figured out, of course, basal forebrain is one of the regions also which get activated. And of course, medial prefrontal activity is correlated with participants with gratitude rating, which means they have in that in their experimental paradigm, what they were conditioning. The conditioning was the protocol contained gratitude conditioning. So, and during that time they were asked, the functional MRI was done on their brain, and these are the small pixels that you see getting activated. This is so fantastic. I tell you what. And then what happens is they found out during the same time, if you take out blood from their body, a few drops here there, they found that oxytocin, endorphins were released big time. And these are the basic chemicals which keeps the nervous system and immune system most healthy. This is beautiful. And this is I mean, I have taken permission for this particular figure, but I have other areas of thankfulness. What all things can it do? I could not take permission from them, so I cannot show their pictures. So basically, this is what happens. This region, I'm telling you, this hypothalamus, this particular hypothalamus region, is the one which sends out signals to the pituitary, and pituitary releases the cortisol, right, during the stress problem. But when you're thankful, the same hypothalamus gives signal to pituitary to produce oxytocin. And oxytocin is that hormone, which is actually hormone and a neurotransmitter. It is a neuropeptide, they call it. So it is a peptide neurotransmitter which is produced by hypothalamus and released in the bloodstream by the pituitary gland. So this is the one which is released during childbirth and breastfeeding, and because this is so it's a divine hormone, I would say. It's a divine hormone, which is the most pleasant, the most pleasing thing that can happen. And in addition to that, oxytocin, dopamine, and 5-hydroxytryptamine, these are the top-notch feel-good chemicals that your body synthesizes to relax the entire system and not to go out of control by self-multiplication and cell division and getting threatened and all that stuff. This is the reason for all the cancer and everything else happening in our society these days, because of that. And society thrives because of that, because they say big companies are having their stake, because then if you are not threatened, then they will not survive, right? So that's how it is. But our goal is to figure out how to make the best use of our own God-given equipment here to live right. So they said that you have been sent to the world, but you have never read the instruction manual, because nobody teaches us the instruction manual. That's the reason. Anyway, there are other regions. This ventral tegmental area, I'm just telling you that this ventral tegmental area, this particular area, this has connections all over the brain, and this produces dopamine and sends it to forebrain, basal forebrain, and ventromedial cortex. So that's what this particular summation shows. This is also present in the book So you can read it really very nicely. There's another region which is responsible for creating that the level of. So what happened when you say transformation? What do you mean by transformation? So when you are thankful, suddenly you will feel that you can forgive somebody and seek forgiveness also. Maybe I made a mistake. I have. So asking for forgiveness requires a lot of energy. It's not that simple that, oh, I'm sorry. No, I am sorry cannot come out very easily. Remember that. It is tough for somebody to say I am sorry. But when you are full of gratitude, that asking for forgiveness for mistake you might make, because sometimes you live unconsciously, you make mistakes. So you can ask forgiveness. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. That bridges a relationship. That bridges a relationship right away. You might be we are not superhuman. You're not God, right? We are liable to make mistakes. So, but then if you are in the thankful mode all the time, you can always ask for forgiveness. Normally, when you are so trained in gratitude conditioning or in the thankfulness state, that you are so aware that you will never make mistakes. But in the initial phase, yeah, you can. But they have seen that this middle frontal gyrus, this particular region, this region here, right? The gyrus means the uh, hump, whatever you call the crest over there. The brain has a convolution and all that, and the gyri and sulci, so that kind of things, right? So the middle frontal gyrus is the larger volume, has been shown for people who are more forgiving, and this particular forgiveness starts with having more uh, gratitude in our system. So this particular one is one I was very fascinated with, when they said that larger MFG volume is correlated with more forgiveness, and less symptoms or no symptoms of depression and anxiety, and with forgiveness mediating with relationship. Like, this is beautiful. This is what it is happening in current science right now. And there is another place. I'll explain to you how forgiveness, letting go, uh, um, the love and fulfillment, and all that stuff is all chakra related here. I'll tell you how that happened. So this is one thing that love and compassion is associated with the increased bold fMRI signal in the right insular cortex. The right insular cortex is more of an emotion driven, right? So love and compassion it does not show in the left brain somehow, but it shows on the right brain, right part of the brain. This one, right. So this particular love and compassion is associated with insular cortex. And earlier I showed that those people who are devotees of ultimate order, like they have gone into the, like Amritamai Ma or Amma Ji and all those people, they have such high level of oxytocin in their system, and they have the highest amount of this particular signal in the right brain. So this is the right insular cortex that you call this. If you have to open up in order to see this, the prefrontal cortex, that ventro, it is just below it. So I cannot show you right now. So how does this whole thing gets activated normally? Suppose if I'm not doing gratitude conditioning, how does that eventually work? But does it mean that my brain will be like gone? No, there is another possibility. What happens is vagus nerve. Remember, Sriji, that we had done some vagus. How do you do vagal activation? We had done a good seminar a long time ago on that. So what happens? Vagus nerve is all about abdomen, right? Vagus nerve is coming from brain, obviously. That is a cranial nerve, but that's the biggest cranial nerve. But what happens is there are afferent fibers. Afferent fibers means that signal which goes from the uh, gut and other areas throughout the body, the signal that goes from there back to brain. So that is what it is. So the signal from over here, from the bottom of our body, like the gut, the abdomen, the kidneys, the everything else, heart, lungs, these signal go up and then they activate the nucleus tractus solitarius, this particular one small nuclei, and from there this nuclei sitting in where? In the medulla oblongata area. Medulla oblongata is where when you constrict it, when you breathe, when you did the breathing, this one. So you can bypass this and still with breathing itself, you can activate this area. Alternatively, you can feel, don't you feel fulfilled when you eat nice meal? Fulfillment is what? Activation of Manipura Chakra. Activation of Manipura Chakra. Actually, Manipura Chakra is associated with thankfulness. And from there, this particular thing, vagus nerve activation comes and fires up the NTS. And from there, this whole system of network is activated. So just eating. Now, when you are doing the inhalation and exhalation, when you inhale, you should have your abdomen go up and down real good. Your abdomen should go up and down, inside out, inside out. That actually triggers the vagus afferent fibers. Afferent fibers means that which goes up to the brain. So that is one thing. In the breathing system, you are actually activating your vagus afferent fibers without even eating anything. So that's what it is. So this is our brain on gratitude. This particular region over here evokes possibility thinking and cognitive restructuring. This particular area, obviously, this is a bliss center, they call it. Wires and fires, new neuronal connections. This particular thing increases dopamine, this is from the midbrain and it goes all the way inside everywhere else. It has this connection so dopamine, serotonin is nothing but 5-hydroxytryptamine. So this goes all the way, and this particular prefrontal cortex reduces anxiety, fear, and all that. So have we not are accustomed to this particular idea? Nako घाबरू, जसं आपलं हे याच्यामध्ये
बरोबर आहे.
हा त्याच्यामध्ये there are lots of places where this नको घाबरी तसे बाळ त्यांचा असा करून there is always a fear eradication program in all our chantings or all our mantras also. Like for instance, in Hanuman Chalisa, it says that what is that in Hanuman Chalisa? In Hanuman Chalisa, I'll remember it after some time. There is a thing that you Hanumanji ka jab, whenever there is Hanumanji's presence, you don't even have to fear. So that
काहू को डरना.
तुम रक्षा काहू को डरना, तुम रक्षा काहू को डरना, अपन ते समारो आप है, तीनों लोग हाँकते. Means the fear is the first thing that gets eradicated whenever you are approaching God. Anywhere, that is the whole idea of the fear is what keeps us a slave to our own limitations. So you get rid of fear and everything is fine afterwards. Now, as I told you, if you take care of the gut, the brain takes care of itself. So there is a big connection between brain and gut. And gut microbiota, the bacteria in the gut, once they have digested your food, they produce small amounts of neurotransmitters. The same neurotransmitter that is sitting in the brain, exact same neurotransmitter, nothing different. And when the vagus nerve and nerve endings are sitting in that intestinal area, that small neurotransmitter triggers the nerve endings, and they send the signal directly to the brain. So that's what it is all about. Whenever we can, I think we talked about how the gut is so important in preventing. Gut health is extremely important in preventing or in fact reversing Parkinson's. We talked about that we had 2-3 sessions on that, on Parkinson disease, and how gut health is ultimately important for brain health, actually. Not just Parkinson, I would say all the neurodegenerative disorder originate in the gut and get manifested in the brain. So that's what it is all about. The breathing component. Now we have talked about the gratitude aspect. Now we talk about the breathing component or the pranayam component. Now, this is the portion, if you go medulla and pons, this is the portion right here. If you can touch your soft corner, soft upper palate, soft one with your tongue, you go all the way just behind epiglottis, that the thing that hangs, that just behind that, this is happening. This is sitting here. That is so soft. I mean, it can sense. So whenever there are 5 different regions, I would say one is the red one, the green one, the blue one, and the purple and this light blue one. So these are the different centers which get activated by breathing. Now we call that, let's say, what 5 pranas that are activated by breathing? 5 pranas. So have we also heard that Hanumanji is Panchmukhi? Now Hanumanji is Panchmukhi. In what way? First of all, let's say what is Hanumanji? What is Hanumanji? Hanumanji is nothing but the breath we take. Because why? If he is a Pavana Putra, Pavan is a cosmic air, right? Cosmic wind. Now, cosmic wind is huge in size, right? And Pavana Putra is a small in size. So the one which goes inside our windpipe is Pavan Putra only. The cosmic wind is Pavan. The one which moves inside our windpipe is Pavan Putra, which means Hanumanji. Hanumanji is all the time with us. All the time with us. How? In the form of breath we take, and that gets what you call bifurcated or bifurcated. I would say not bifurcated, bifurcated into 5 different pranas. What are the pranas? Pranas are nothing but respiratory, circulatory, immune, excretory, and digestive function is known as pranas. So, and these are air being the same. If it activates certain receptors in these the places that we discussed about, certain receptors, then each receptor sites can activate those areas in the brain which control the respiration, circulation, immune system, and excretory and digestive functions. This is how Panchmukhi has been visualized by our rishis in the past. Panchmukhi Hanuman Ji is visualized this way. Now the same thing is being discussed in terms of the 5 major functions of our body. Major 5 functions of our body is controlled by breath in the form of different pran vayus. Pran vayus is nothing but if the air, oxygen in the air from that we have breath, it interacts with that particular receptor which has linked to respiration in the brain, or the circulation center in the brain, or the immune system in the brain, or the excretory center, or the temperature control center, or digestive center. If this is getting activated by that, then 5 different functions are taken care of by what? Just air. And let me tell you what it was all about. This area, this is what I was talking about. All these areas are in the pons and medulla oblongata only, and nowhere else. And these areas, I did not try draw out, it will become too complicated. But these areas have different centers directly connected to these different centers. Temperature control, water balance, eating behavior, urinary bladder control, and blood pressure, immune system, and all that. This is what 5 Pancha Prana is all about. It is not something flu. People thought, oh, the Pancha Prana nonsense you're talking. No, it's real deal. It's real deal. And this is what I have talked about in the book really deeply. Now, what is Agya Chakra? Agya Chakra is that which controls all these major human physiological functions, right? Agya means controls power, give command. Don't mess around, just do it. So body takes over complete, the brain takes over the entire system. Then it does not let you figure it out. But the beauty is by thankfulness, we can tell the command center, please do this job for me. And command center is obeying you then. The command center obeys you then. Beautiful. And
Another one, small question. The Agya Chakra, is it the combination of the pituitary gland and
yes, the green thing, the medulla, the pons, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, all these things are Agya Chakra only.
Perfect, thanks.
These are the combination. They are actually, none of them work by single-handedly. They all work together. Hypothalamus cannot work without pituitary, pituitary cannot work with hypothalamus, and all that. These are all very interrelated. They control all the 5 different neurotransmitters. They control the neuropeptide, the neurohormone, all the good things. And they will also destroy you also. If you're messing around, if you're in the red zone and the fearful zone, the same thing will destroy you. Same hypothalamus and pituitary will destroy you.
Got it.
Now, Manipura chakra is the basic. If you consider these are all the 7 chakras, Mooladhara chakra is the Prithvi element. I was told one thing by my dad that was unbelievable. I could not understand why he told me that time. He said, if you have a problem of a lower chakra, activate the higher chakra first. I said, this is amazing. And that's why whenever you go in any of these retreats or Sadguru retreats or Sri Ravi Shankar retreat or wherever Vipassana retreat on all that stuff, their breathing is fine, but they ask you to tilt your head a little bit and focus on the forehead. Forehead is not forehead. Actually, forehead is Agya Chakra. When you do this, that particular sensation goes into this Agya Chakra, right? Because it is directly inside that. So whenever you activate higher chakra, the lower chakra get activated by default. But this Manipura chakra is activated by what? Gratitude. Fulfillment is the whenever you feel fulfilled, you feel thankful, right? I'm so thankful, I'm fulfilled. So Manipura chakra is activated. And because Manipura chakra is activated, the next chakra that gets activated is Mooladhara chakra directly. You have the energy because you have activated a higher chakra with a higher frequency. You have the energy to forgive and seek apology also. If you can ask for forgiveness and you can seek apology, forgive also people. Then Swadhisthana, because you are able to forgive, you are not holding on to somebody. He did not say hello to me yesterday, and that's why I'm not. 10 years ago, somebody said, until you are suffering because you did not let go of that thought. Because why? Because you did not forgive, you did not have the energy to forgive. So this Manipura chakra is very, very important to, if we want to live as a human body, you can only live with these 3 chakras and everything will be fine. But the beauty of gratitude is it also takes care of these 2 chakras plus Anahat chakra. As we have already talked about, gratitude conditioning causes this love and compassion. We saw that fMRI, bold fMRI data. And after that, Vishuddhi chakra gets activated. Your communication becomes very sweet. You are not harsh. You know that if I use wrong words or if you use tough words, probably it will hurt somebody. That because of love and compassion, this supports communication. Love and compassion in your heart supports the right kind of communication, and it allows clarity of understanding, because when you're bowing down like this, that particular Agya Chakra, all the good things that Agya Chakra releases, the dopamine, the oxytocin, and 5-hydroxytryptamine, serotonin, and all that, uh, endorphin, and all that, it all bathing the frontal cortex, prefrontal cortex. Because of that activation, the Vivek Buddhi, this is the place where Vivek Buddhi exists. And if this Vivek Buddhi is not, the clarity of understanding cannot happen, and you cannot make decision. To do or not to do will be the biggest thing in your life. Either to do it or not to do it. If it wastes so much energy, you will exhaust yourself by if you don't have the clarity. So that causes clarity, and obviously it from there the kripa happens. This particular thing, no human being has been able to do it because of his own effort. Never. Up to Agya Chakra, yes, you can. After that, it's all grace, pure grace. So first, the Manipura Chakra, activation of activation caused by gratitude and fulfillment. That activation first causes activation in the Muladhara Chakra, allowing you to forgive and seek forgiveness. Obviously, letting go will be easy. This is what I have described this as and when this has happened to me in my own life in the book. Every place I have, it is a hard journey I took. It should not be that hard, but I was a keen observer. That was the only thing I was taught as a scientist, that be a very, very keen observer. You observe everything so keenly with no prejudice and no judgment, then automatically you learn good. And that is exactly what I have done. And gratitude, fulfillment, cause, forgiveness. How this forgiveness has happened in my life, I had given anecdotes from my lab in the book. How let go has happened, and letting go is very, very difficult. It is not easy. So what you have to do when you are letting go is you go ahead and activate a lower the Anhat Chakra. This is my mother taught me how to do this, and obviously the acceptance happens, communication, the right kind of communication happens, and surrender and clarity happens at the activation of Agya Chakra, and of course after that pure grace. And you just keep becoming ready. This is the place where you are ready to receive a grace. And until unless you have received the grace and appreciated grace, you cannot appreciate the gratitude. Gratitude cannot be appreciated until and unless we have experienced pure grace. And that cannot be described. So with immense gratitude, I am really, really thanking you all for giving me your time and valuable time. But I would tell you one thing. As I said, the book wrote itself. I read it and I was transformed. So book is there now. All we can do is read it now and get transformed. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, Shekhar. It was wonderful. Lot of information. Thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay. And again, next week also, it's getting a little bit late, but next week also we are going to have continuation of this session. So, you'll have a chance again to ask him questions. Okay. So you can digest what he said today, and I will be sending the recording soon, tomorrow. And I think we can continue for some time right now, but we'll also have a session next Sunday. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
go
can
ahead.
have a question answer session, but if you can buy a book, you can read a few things from there, and maybe you can ask me direct questions pertaining to whichever chapter you feel is important. Sanjuji, yes.
Yes.
Go
Is
for
the
it.
book available only on Amazon or is it available in regular stores like
Not
Barnes
yet,
and
only on
Noble?
Amazon.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I have two queries.
Yes.
I started reading I got it from Amazon. Each and every word. Secondly, mentioned about meditation, kriya, alom vilom, kapal bhati, or deep meditation or yogic exercises. So, if in the next session, or Praveenji can give us certain feedbacks along with this book, which are these medications or which are the pranayams or yogas which we can do, it would be great.
Yes. The first thing that comes to my mind is Surya Namaskar. If you can do Surya Namaskar and Bhujangasana, Surya Namaskar, and
I am a patient of third and fourth stage of liver cancer for last 9 months, but that's because of Praveenji's guidance. I am recovering slowly and slowly.
wonderful.
So I hope Praveenji will allow me to do Surya Namaskar or Bhujangasana. If he
Okay.
does, I can go for it.
Praveenji, you can take over now. With you can.
Sure. So, thank you, Shekhar Dada. Sanjeev ji, definitely we'll have a session on how to do Surya Namaskar, but let me explain the science behind it in line with what Shekhar Dada has already explained. So, as you can imagine, when we are doing the Surya Namaskar pose, it is actually a combination of multiple asanas, and each pose is an alternate between an contraction and an expansion. So in each pose, you are either supposed to be breathing in or you're supposed to be exhaling out. Now, if you really look at our entire physiology, our cranial system is such that it's actually plates, and they kind of expand and contract. The same thing with the sacrum and the entire spinal cord. It kind of goes in the front and back based on whether you're breathing in or breathing out. The cerebrospinal fluid that flows through your spinal cord really has to traverse along and it has to do so without any blockages. Surya Namaskar is a very powerful technique by which you can actually, control your breathing with each of the asanas, and which pushes the cerebrospinal fluid, clearing all the blockages towards your Agya Chakra really. And that is one of the reasons why, all of us who have been practicing Surya Namaskar for some time swear by it. And there is no other best person than Shri Kaka to teach us Surya Namaskar. I would recommend Sanjeev ji that you attend his classes. Instead of me teaching you yoga, it is you are like the Bible is in front of us, which is Shri Kaka. So you should be attending his session.
I will surely do it.
Excellent.
Okay, sir.
So I'm going to mute you, Sanjeev, because you already muted. Okay, yeah, so because it was causing some noise. Okay, sorry.
Babu Bhaiji, I believe you also had a question. You had raised your hand. So
नमस्कार. कुछ क्वेश्चन नहीं है, बहुत मजा आया सुनने का, और थोड़ा जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग था उसमें रिफाइनिंग हो गया मेरा. मेरा क्या एक्सरसाइज वगैरह का कम है, लेकिन मेरा स्पिरिचुअल ज्यादा है. पॉजिटिव थिंकिंग वाला जो है, क्षमा करने का, जो कोई बोलता है तो सुन लेने का, not getting disturb ourselves, not doing disturb other people also. So I'm working on this stage. थोड़ा ये योगा का भी है, योगा का भी करना पड़ता है, लेकिन जो आपने साइंस ब्रेन का बताया ना, वो तो जो जिसको ब्रेन का जो क्या है कि डायग्राम वगैरह मालूम है उसको ज्यादा मालूम पड़ेगा, सबको तो नहीं पड़ेगा. एवरीबॉडी अंडरस्टैंड इंग्लिश? आई डोंट नो.
नहीं, एक्चुअली मैंने किताब में मैं अपने पिताजी को समझा रहा हूँ. मेरे पिताजी 10th ग्रेड 10th पास हैं, तो आप समझ लीजिए हमने कितना लो लेवल पे, कितना बेसिक फंडामेंटल लेवल पे ले आके रखा है कि उनको भी समझ.
ये बहुत अच्छा किया आपने, बहुत अच्छा किया,
10th ग्रेड लेवल पे लिखा है वो चीज. जितना न्यूरोसाइंस बताया है आपको, वो न्यूरोसाइंस
Minimum.
को 10th ग्रेड लेवल पे ला के रखा है, तो जिसको बिल्कुल कुछ नहीं आता न्यूरोसाइंस उसको भी आ जाता है फिर।
फिर भी साहब आपने जो ये आधे घंटे में जो बताया ना, वो बुक पूरा 2 दिन पढ़े तो भी इतना समझ में नहीं आएगा, मैं ऐसा समझता हूँ। आप दो दिन बुक पढ़ ले और इतना जो अर्क निकालने का है उसमें से, वो नहीं निकल पाएंगे हम लोग। आपने जो बता दिया पिक्चर के साथ, ये लेक्चर से अच्छा है, प्रैक्टिकल अच्छा है। बुक तो पढ़ लेंगे, बुक तो कभी पढ़ लेंगे, लेकिन पढ़ने से नहीं आता है।
नहीं पढ़ने,
जो
ये वाली किताब पढ़ने से आपको आएगा, ये हमारे
आएगा। इस लॉन्ग टाइम, इन लॉन्ग टाइम,
इतना सिंपल।
सिंपल होगा।
I suggest everyone buy the book and next Sunday when we have the question
And it's
answer
not
session.
expensive even. It's cheaper also. It's cheap. That's not expensive even.
Shekhar, one quick question.
Yes, sir.
All these diagrams in the book,
Most of them, yes.
and what was HPA axis malfunction?
HPA ऐसे hypothalamus, pituitary and adrenal
अच्छा,
malfunction. Yeah. Which means that उसके अंदर जो repeat जो negative feedback है ना, once the cortisol is synthesized in our body, it has to get shut it off. So the cortisol itself can shut itself off. So लेकिन अगर जब बॉडी में जब कॉन्स्टेंटली थ्रेट होता रहेगा, फियर को रिलीज करता चला जाएगा, एक समय आएगा कि वो जो द फीडबैक लूप इटसेल्फ गेट फ्राइड, वो काम ही नहीं करेगा, वो कंटिन्यूअसली कॉर्टिसोल रिलीज करके बैठता रहेगा वो। तो ये उसको एचपीए एक्सिस का मेल फंक्शन बोलते हैं उसको।
अच्छा,
एक्चुअली हम लोग ने जो सिस्टम अच्छा दिया है, गॉड गिवन गिफ्ट है, वो बिगाड़ के रख दिया है।
हाँ, हम लोगों को जानकारी नहीं है ना उसकी, हम लोगों को जानकारी नहीं है, थोड़ा नॉलेज होने से ठीक हो जाएगा सब।
वही कितना कीमती शरीर दिया है कुदरत ने।
यस।
तो अभी वो ठीक करने के सोचना पड़ता है हमको। हमारा हैबिट्स बिगड़ गया, ये हो गया, तो अच्छा है कि ये नॉलेज अभी मिल रहा है आप लोगों के जैसे।
यस,
थैंक यू सर।
बहुत बहुत थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग ऑडियंस, एंड I learn a lot while I am talking. I am learning a lot myself.
Thank you very much, Shekhar.
Thank
and I
you.
think we'll continue this next Sunday.
Yes, next time we can have question answer session directly. You can ask me any question pertaining to this subject, even whether it is in the book or not in the book. We'll discuss it out.
Are you gonna share the? I got the book, but are you gonna share the today's last session slides?
I will come down in your neck of the woods, Sriji.
Yes.
And I can do live session, right? Yes, I can do live session there, right there in front of you.
That will be awesome.
Yes, I will do that.
Then I can get my book copy signed from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Shrikant, Suresh Kododikar.
Hello, Suresh. Namaste.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you very much, Shekhar. Sorry I could not get the whole thing. But I have bought the book.
Oh,
it is absolutely simple. I don't know how amazing ability you have to simplify these difficult and hard to understand topics into simple words. Just conversation. And just
I know that is the reason I say I have not written the book. It is I don't know how simplify. It has become so simple. I feel, did I write this or what?
No, it's amazing. Thank you very much. And
I don't
Shrikant,
think so.
Thanks a lot for bringing these beautiful things to us.
Thank you, sir. ये हमारे गुरुजी की कृपा है ये।
हाँ, सही बात है। उसके बगैर कुछ होता नहीं भैया।
कुछ नहीं होता है। Nothing happens without him. Yeah.
हाँ जी।
ये गुरु कृपा ही गुरु ने ही लिखा है ये किताब। हमने तो सिर्फ हमको बैठ के उन्होंने कहा कि कंप्यूटर पे बैठो, तुम बस बैठे रहो, बस चुपचाप।
I believe you.
काम हम करेंगे, वो काम उन्होंने कर दिया सब।
I believe completely. Thank you. Bye bye.
So Ujjwala, do you have a question?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I have a lot of gratitude for giving me a lot of encouragement and knowledge. I have no medical background, but this is what I learned from your lecture today. Be fearless, be content, be happy, forgive people, and live in the moment.
Wonderful.
All right.
Excellent. Excellent.
Perfect, perfect.
Very good. Very good.
Very, very nice,
Yeah.
Ujjwala. Okay, okay.
Thank you again. I will definitely buy the book and read. It may take me time to be able to ask you questions.
Sure. Anytime.
Thank you again.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.